Today's Cosplay Con Talk episode is sponsored by Moco Queen Color Contacts. Don't forget to use my code Wayne for 10% off at checkout at mocoqueen.com. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. How's it, everyone? Wayne the Unknown here, and welcome back to another episode of Cosplay Con Talk, where we basically discuss everything not geeking out, where we discuss everything pertaining to the cosplay community and conventions. I'm joined here by special guest cosplayer Aaron Gaines. How are we doing tonight, Aaron?
We are doing good. We're our bellies full. We're ready to kick this thing off. How you doing, Wayne?
I am doing really good. Again, thank you for coming on. And for those who may know Aaron, he's mostly known for doing cosplays on TikTok, which I gotta say are some of my favorite stuff you do on TikTok, man.
I appreciate that greatly.
So basically, this is cosplay con talk. Kids and the cosplayers basically know about the cosplayer, how they got into cosplay and the conventions they've done, share their experiences, share their cosplays and everything. So to formally begin, how long have you been cosplaying for, and what got you into cosplay?
Oh gosh. So consistently, I've been cosplaying for this is going on 3 years. But total
Nice.
amount of time about 10 years. I actually started whenever I was in high school, and I always loved dressing up and playing pretend as a kid. Like that was my that was my go-to thing. I wanted to just recreate different scenes from like movies or TV shows that I loved. And whenever I was, I think it was my sophomore year of high school, I saw that Nashville, which I'm from Tennessee, I saw that Nashville was getting a comic convention. It was Wizard World that was coming, and I was
Nice.
like, oh, this seems pretty cool. And I started watching videos on it and saw that there were these people dressed up. I'm like, oh, what's that about? And me and my friend just started researching. It's like, oh, it's called cosplay. That's what it is. That's pretty cool. And so yeah, so we decided, you know what, let's give it a try. So we went, we cosplayed, and it was mind blowing. It was like just the con experience of just the just that new thing you're trying, and like everybody loves it and everybody's doing it as well, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is
Might as
great.
well
I
jump
like
on
it.
that bandwagon as well.
Absolutely.
So you said you've been doing it for 10 years, technically?
Yeah, technically 10 years. I started 10 years ago, so.
Nice. So you would be in that category, as I call it, a cosplay veteran. You've seen the
Ooh,
change of the con and cosplay scene over the past 10 years.
right.
So you said your first convention was Wizard World. What was that like back then, 10 years ago?
Back then, Wizard World was like you have these independent cons that states will do themselves. They have like an independent company that they'll do. But Wizard World was more so like it was like a touring convention kind of thing. It would be in different cities, and they would have kind of the same guest lineup for each one. A few of them would be different. But it was like a very mainstream sort of convention that came through, and it was huge. Back then, it was probably one of the bigger as far as touring conventions would go. Um, yeah, it took up the whole Music City Center is like the big convention center that is here in Nashville, and yeah, I mean it was a lot to jump into for a first convention
I,
for a teenage kid, but
I believe it. So one thing I'm actually going to start asking now, since about I'm going to start asking local cosplayers what are conventions like in their states. So what's the con scene like in Tennessee?
just recently this past year, the first like independent convention was set. So Nashville Comic Con was the inaugural year of it, and it was a very, I'm not going to say it was small by any means, because it was a standard size, but the turnout was incredible. It was sold out the first year, so much so that before the weekend was even up, they approved it for another year this year. So uh,
Nice.
and it was just really, Tennessee anyway has like this Southern hospitality kind of vibe to it. And so whenever you have that with a convention scene that is already sort of a hospitable sort of environment, it just kind of doubles down on that whole on that take. And so it just really felt just really, really cool.
Nice. So for those who are wanting to get into the convention scene or those who are just curious about it, what advice would you want to give to first-time con goers? Whether they want to go to a big con or a small con for their first con.
I would say just the general thing is if you're cosplaying, make sure that it is something you're going to be comfortable in all day. If you are looking for something that's not going to be comfortable, but it looks really good, do that. Just do what's within your comfort zone. Bring water. Water is essential. Make sure you eat. Eating is again essential, and
Oh yeah.
you can easily go a whole day without doing it whenever you're at a convention because it's just so much to look at. That and just be respectful of everybody else around you and expect that in return as well. And most importantly, just have fun. Like
Oh yeah.
there's so much there for everybody. So make sure that you're having a good time and the people you're with are also having a good time.
Oh no, wholeheartedly. And I have to say, I don't know what it is about con goers and cosplayers, but when they're at a con for like hours on end, I swear they have bladders of steel because they just it doesn't seem like no one goes to a bathroom at a convention. I swear.
Never. And what's weird is like the bathroom is like it can be the most happening place sometimes because randomly you'll walk in and there's a Power Ranger right next to you just using the bathroom.
Yeah, I don't know how it is how cosplayers who like do the big build cosplays. I just never understand how they can hold their bladder for so long. It's crazy. Um, next
Technique and
question.
talent.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now another question. For those, would you recommend for someone who's going to their first con, would you recommend they have a set budget?
Yes, yes, because it can get really expensive on the front end, and you haven't even entered the convention yet. I mean, you're talking tickets, you're talking um, if you're commuting or you're flying to the con, you're counting that. If you're staying with somebody there, that's cool. If not, you got to look at hotel. So already you're in a few $100s before you even get there, and then you're talking about the costume pieces, and then you're talking about the window shopping once you get there. Because if you are a fan of anything, a convention is going to have something that you'll love, and you're going to be drawn to it like a kid in a candy store.
And next thing you know, you're at -$1 in your bank account because you
Yep,
just
you're about like $500 in debt, and you
oh
didn't even have that to
Jesus.
begin with. And but I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about making the memories, and it's all about making it a good experience. I almost said you can always get that money back, which is true, and it's easier for some than it is for others. But ultimately, just being able to have that good experience and being able to have those fond memories of going to it is what it's all about.
Oh, most definitely. Now some of the cons. How many cons, if you can remember, how many cons have you gone to in the past 10 years?
Oh gosh. So I did Wizard World twice, and then that stopped coming around. Um, then I did Ranger Stop, which is in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, there's
I
different
have
ones around.
I have heard of Ranger Stop, the Power Rangers convention.
Yeah, oh, it's phenomenal. I did that twice. And then I think the biggest cons I went to, of course, Nashville Comic Con this past year, and then the biggest con I went to was a MegaCon in Orlando, Florida.
I've heard of that once. Mind for those who may not know, and someone like me, what is MechaCon?
MegaCon there's a couple different locations they have them. One is in Orlando. They have one over in somewhere in England. I don't know if it's London or not. But MegaCon is exactly what it sounds like. It is a huge uh, convention that happens in the Orlando area, and it really doesn't have like a set theme. It's just kind of a miscellaneous con where they like this past year they had like Brendan Fraser. He was the
Ah,
one of the main people that they were advertising, and they had all the
such a humble person.
I love him so much. We actually got to do a like a photo op with him, and it's like a photo
Nice.
op is different because it's like in and out really quick, and especially with him, his line was really really long, but
Oh, I believe it.
he just radiated such a great energy. But yeah, they had like the entire Lord of the Rings cast. They had people from Cobra Kai. They had people from uh, the Karate Kid, and just so many different just sources of media were at this one convention, and it was the first time, not the first time, the second time they had it since the pandemic had started, and it was packed shoulder to shoulder, and it's one of them where if you can withstand it, go for it. If you can only go for a couple hours like I did, and then you kind of get claustrophobic, and you're like, all right, I've seen what I wanted to see. I'll come back tomorrow.
Which brings me to my next question. When you're going to a con, especially if it's your first con or just in general, would you recommend, as I call it, bring in a convention X buddy? Basically, bring someone with you just in case things just get a little too much at a con.
I would say yes. Everybody has their different tastes of if they want to go somewhere alone or if they want to go with a group. I prefer to go with at least one other person, and I think it is beneficial just because you kind of have somebody. If you are somebody who gets overstimulated quickly, you have somebody to kind of help keep you grounded, or someone to kind of lead the way if you need to find a place to get some air or just get some space for a while. So yeah, I would say the buddy system is definitely the way to go. My personal opinion. And just anything's going to keep on making you have a good time. It's going to make you feel safe and secure and just keep good vibes on the forefront.
Nice. So another new question I'm going to start asking before we talk about your cosplays. Any future conventions you plan on going to for this year? Mind you, your interview will be out in on the last Saturday of July. So cons you're going to, cons you would like to go to for the 2023 years.
Yes. Let's see so the one that's coming up in I believe June is going to be Nashville Comic Con, or by the time this airs, it's already passed. So Nashville Comic Con will definitely be going back there again. And I'm wanting to try to go to Dragon Con. That is another very huge convention in the Atlanta area. And
The Disney World of the cosplay scene, as I call
yeah,
it.
and I've had a lot of friends go and they love it. And so I'm like, all right, I think it's time to see what it's all about. And other than that, I am going to try to get to, no, I've planned. I am going to get to New York Comic Con this year as well.
Ooh, you got some big ones coming up this year.
Yeah, it's just getting the ball rolling and hopefully it all just goes to plan. And one other one that's generally small is Ranger Stop again, and also in Atlanta.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a huge like Power Rangers fanatic, and
Hey,
so
same here,
being able to go
man.
there is awesome.
Yeah, I remember hearing about Ranger Stop from a post I saw by David Fielding on Instagram. It's like, what is this con? And look, I was like, oh, there's just a convention dedicated to Power Rangers. Like, I wish they would do that here, but I know these big cons are going. I know you talk about Wizard World over here now. It is called Fan Expo.
Oh yeah. Where are you located? If you don't mind me asking.
I'm located in the Southern Oregon area.
Okay, gotcha.
So yeah, you're not. Yeah, I'm at the point where I just started interviewing people just here in this country and across the
Mm-hmm.
world. So it's always
Sweet.
nice hearing about these cons. And I hope you can go to Dragon Con. Can't wait to hear about your first time experience with that.
I appreciate that. We will see what happens.
So now we're gonna talk about the cosplays you've done. Well, actually, before that, recommendations, advice for first time cosplayers who are on a budget or want to get into it. What advice would you like to give?
I always think that the main and the important thing is to find a character that you can connect with, find one that means something to you, and regardless of what your budget is, if you have the heart for it, you have the heart that you're putting into it, then however you make it is how. Let me rephrase that. If you have heart for it and you have love for it, however it's made is going to look great. And whether that be just a couple bucks to put something together, whether that be a few $100s to get something huge and extravagant. Like my first cosplay was Ash Ketchum, and it was literally made from two different shirts I got from a Goodwill, and my mom ripped the sleeves off one and the collar off one and sewed it onto a blue shirt, and a hat that I got off eBay, and bada bing, bada boom, there it was, Ash Ketchum.
Nice.
So
And you
yeah,
just
it's
answered
really.
You just answered my question about what your
Oh,
first
sorry.
cosplay was. Oh no! It's always good. I always like it when they answer when they they talk about things where I don't have to ask. Like, oh, I don't have to ask that question now.
Oh, cool. But yeah. So ultimately, just as long as you have a love for it, as long as you are putting your heart into it, no matter what anybody says, as long as you're having fun, you're doing a good job.
Nice. And you would also probably recommend thrifting as well. Then, if someone's on a budget.
Oh yeah, yeah. No matter what your budget is, thrifting is always a great way to go.
Oh yeah, for what what the one item you want is like $100 online. You go to Goodwill or thrifting, it's like $10.
Yeah, it's so amazing just how crafty you challenge yourself. Be crafty. You can craft so much out of just these little trinkets that you find at a Goodwill store or some type of thrift shop somewhere.
Nice. Now on to the cosplays you've done. Um, actually, first, what was it like cosplaying as Ash Ketchum for your first cosplay?
I grew up a Pokemon kid. Like that was another thing that just I had a huge passion for and still really have a passion for.
Hence the board in the background.
Oh yeah, a little bit. Like we got an OG poster that I actually got at a convention.
Nice.
um, but yeah, I mean, like I said, my friend and I we were gonna go to Wizard World in Nashville. And we're like, okay, cool. What can we do? So we ended up doing Ash Ketchum and Misty, and it was very bare bones. Like I said, it was just getting the sleeves off of two different shirts. And then the following year, whenever we went, I did Ash Ketchum again. Except this time, I got the backpack, I got the gloves. My hair was a little bit longer, and so it was just kind of just adding on as it went. And it was fun. I mean, there were a lot of people dressed as like Pokemon, and there were people dressed as other characters wanting to come take pictures. There was this kid that came up freaking out because we were Ash Ketchum and Misty, and I mean, it just being able to have an experience like that with a character you love is like, this is cool. This is what it's about.
Nice. So I also noticed you do you do cosplay TikToks. What has been your favorite TikTok cosplay, as I would call it, since I've never asked that question before until now?
Oh gosh. Yeah, so TikTok really made me just hop right back into the cosplay community full force. And so I would have to say that's tricky. I think the one I have the most fun in is Shaggy. That was my first cosplay I did on TikTok. And it was one of those deals where I saw a video of somebody doing Velma and I was like, oh hey, I could do a duet of this as Shaggy because it was the halfway through 2020 and quarantine was happening and my hair had gotten a little long, a lot shorter than what it is now, but it had gotten a little long. I had grown my beard out and I'm like, I could do Shaggy. So I just ordered a green V-neck and started and made a video, posted it, and the rest is history on that.
Nice. I've definitely noticed at the height of COVID, a lot of people were just posting cosplay content left and right on TikTok, which I think, a lot of people, from what I've noticed, a lot of people love seeing.
Yeah. I think media of all forms was really, I mean, it's really all that a lot of people had. They had like a TV show or a movie series that they were getting attached to. And I think being able to kind of portray those characters that you were finding comfort in at such a hard time, I think that is probably what might have started sparking up the cosplay community on TikTok a lot. But no, you're right. I hadn't really noticed that before, that it really amped up around that time.
Yeah. So now, what's that one cosplay you've not done in so long that you would love to bring back?
Ooh, not done in so long. Um, Gosh. Okay, so there's one that I do periodically. I'll probably do it maybe 2, maybe 3 times a year, to make content with, or if I'm going someplace with it, and that is the Joker. Mainly because I don't like shaving. I much
Yeah.
prefer myself with a beard, and
Yeah,
and
I
so
hear that.
yeah, you get it.
Oh yeah.
And so whenever I have to shave for something, or if I'm like, you know what, I would love to do these characters, but these characters don't have a beard, so I really need to shave. And so I try to get a list of, okay, who can I do while I'm shaved? That way I don't have to worry about shaving again for a long time. And the Joker is one of those because even though I don't do them very often, whenever I do get to do them, it becomes like a full day's job just because you're putting on the makeup and it takes a couple hours for that just because I want to get it right. And then you're filming and you want to make sure you get enough content because you want to feel fulfilled, because you don't want to shave again. and
Oh yeah.
and so yeah, and I haven't really done. I did a Christmas Joker, which I try to get away with having a beard for Christmas Joker because I just put some green in it because Santa Claus. Um, but other than that, another cosplay I have not done, and it's on my plans for this year, is I tried to do a young Professor Oak whenever I first started cosplaying on TikTok, and I liked it, but there was just something off about it to me, and I was like, I think I just need to do regular Professor Oak, and so yeah, took a makeup class whenever I was in college, and so I learned how to do just these different looks, and one of them is like an old person's makeup, and so I'm like, okay, I could probably just get a wig and I can do my makeup like an old person and do an authentic Professor Oak as opposed to this younger spin I was trying to put on it. Not saying it was bad. I'm just saying I would prefer to do uh just the normal one as opposed to this take, because the take was like it was like a tank top and my hair was long and it was down and very much like hipster college Professor Oak, and I'm like, yeah, this isn't the vibe. This isn't hitting like I thought it would.
So you've done makeup. What's it been like? How often do you do makeup for your cosplays?
um I should probably do it more often just so I can keep getting just more practice. But the characters I do makeup for, one being the Joker. um there was one, I think, who Scar, Scar from the Lion King. I did him. I did like a humanoid, not humanoid, that's almost like a mafia version of Scar. And
Nice.
for him, I'll put on just a base makeup, and of course, you have to have the scar, and I'll paint my nails, and I have these acrylics that I'll put on where they're like really sharp. And like, hats off to anybody who wears acrylics on a regular basis, because wearing them for just a couple hours is just excruciating.
Oh, I wholeheartedly believe it. No, seriously, props to anyone who can do that. I guess advice for those who wanted like add acrylic nails or makeup to their cosplay.
Any advice? If you are well, if you're well taught or trained, or you have a lot of practice in makeup, great on you. If not, don't give up. YouTube is a wonderful thing. Tutorials are a glorious thing. You can learn as long as you have the willingness to learn it. I think you can do it to something that will suit you. And so I like a lot of like the Scar makeup. It took me uh, a few watches of a YouTube video of trying to get the scar
Oh
right.
yeah,
And
because the car is like, yeah, no.
yeah, and then I did Heath Ledger's Joker once, and I was like, I really want to try to get those scars right, and so I had all the material for it, and so it just took a lot of patience and practice to try to get it uh, right, and a lot of YouTube videos. And it is just having that willingness to learn and having the patience. Patience is key. Just having the patience to be able to be like, okay, I want to do this. I'm going to do it right. Here we go.
Now, I also noticed you like doing group cosplays. What's it been like doing group cosplays, and what's been your favorite group cosplay to do?
Ooh. Um, I gotta give it to doing the Scooby Gang. I think the Scooby Gang is something that is just really, really fun. And it feels like home, because that's how I became friends with some of my best friends that I got from TikTok was Scooby Doo duets. And so we actually went to Universal one day where we were all dressed as the Scooby Gang, and it was just really, really cool to be able to just all be in that sort of vibe. And another would be just like, I haven't done a full Avengers group cosplay yet, but I have done like Captain America and Bucky and like Black Widow, and just that sort of uh I guess more so like the Winter Soldier uh movie group, I guess. And but no, yeah, ultimately I do have to give it to Scooby Doo, and I hope to definitely keep doing that.
Nice. Mind giving a shout out to your Universal Scooby Doo group gang?
Yeah, so there's Hanan Hostess. There is Jessie Verse. She is our Daphne. Sorry, Hanan Hostess is Velma. Jessie Verse is Daphne. You have Jake Ryan, who is Fred. My friend Aaron, he also came with us. He was Scrappy. And then Justin Cosplays, he was the Mystery Machine. He actually got a Hawaiian shirt that looked just like the Mystery Machine. He was wearing shorts that were the same color, blue. And yeah, it just came off really, really well, and it was just fun to be able to do that with everybody.
Nice. Now what's that one cosplay, as I call them, one and done's? Basically, you did it once that just, aside from the Professor Oak, it's a cosplay that you like someone asked you to do, you were curious about doing, but it just didn't really fit the vibe at the time.
Um, that's a good question.
Yeah, there's always gonna be those one or two questions that kind of throws people for a loop.
Yeah. Well, they didn't fit the vibe at the time. I've been asked couple a couple times if I wanted to do a Batman cosplay, and I love Batman. I really do. I just don't look very good in a cowl.
So you tried doing Batman before.
I haven't tried doing Batman, but I used to work for a like a party company as like I dressed up as characters, and one of the characters I did once was Captain America, and so for a party company they want you to, if you don't look like the person, you got to cover your face up, and so I put the cowl on and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I don't know if it's because the cowl just didn't fit or what, but I looked and I'm like, I'm not a cow guy. Like I don't have the jaw for it. So maybe I just need to get one that's size differently. But if I were to do Batman, it would definitely be Terry McGinnis from Batman Beyond, a
Oh,
full face piece as opposed to just a cowl.
I have seen like those they're like a hardcover and they're like the plastic cover where you don't see the mouth. But I have seen Terry McGinnis mask, and that would be pretty cool to see,
I think
honestly.
so.
So that would be a future cosplay. Nice. Batman. Give me a minute. I'm writing down all the cosplays we're talking about.
No, you're totally fine.
Now a comfort cosplay is a character you will always enjoy cosplaying no matter what.
I got to I got to give one to Shaggy, and I got to give one to Spider-Man. I've talked a lot about Shaggy, but Spider-Man, again, if you can't tell from I have a poster in the chair and everything.
Yeah, and those chairs aren't cheap either.
Yeah, they're yeah. um, I mean, Spider-Man, I grew up on Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, and I three very different points in my life. Excuse me, there was a different Spider-Man for three different points in my life, where Tobey Maguire was whenever I was a kid, Andrew Garfield as a teenager, and now that I'm an adult, it's Tom Holland.
Tom Holland.
Which is weird because they've gotten progressively younger and younger as I've gotten older and older.
The older we get, the younger he is. Same with Aunt May.
Yeah, exactly. And Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, that's what my Spider-Man suit is. Whenever I was able to afford buying a big cosplay, that was my first purchase, was a Sam Raimi's Spider-Man suit. And I just remember being home, and I came home from work, and just sitting right there was this package and I knew what was inside. I opened it up, put it right on, and it just felt so healing. It just felt such, I don't know, like every time I put it on, I just go back to being a kid watching the original Spider-Man movie over and over again in my room on my VHS tape. And it just feels like a warm hug. It really does.
Oh, no. The Raimi suit, in my opinion, is probably the best one, honestly, aside from the classic suit. But yeah, the Raimi suit's definitely up there.
For sure.
Nice. And that's actually the thumbnail we're using for you, is your Sam Raimi spider suit.
Perfect. It fits.
What does and the suit feel like? For experience, for those who have never worn a Zentai Spider-Man suit, what was it like? And mind giving advice for those who want to eventually like wear one if they want to do like Nightwing or Spider-Man or Deadpool or whoever.
Yeah. I personally find them comfortable. It really depends on where you get them. I've gotten some Zentai suits that were, you get what you pay for sometimes, and it just kind of threads and it rides up in the places you don't want it to. But where I got the Raimi suit was actually a really good manufacturer. Actually, I'll just shout it out. It's printcostume.com is where I got mine.
I have heard of that. They do the custom thing where you get like the zippers or the crotch zippers. And crotch zippers
really nice.
are a good friend, because it beats having to take the whole suit off and go to the bathroom.
Exactly. So yeah, formerly known as Zentai Zone. Now it is printcostume.com, and they have a lot of affordable options, and they have a whole lot of customization you can get. And I mean, I got it sized specifically to me, and every time I'm in it, it's just a very comfortable experience. I will say, anybody who how can I put, what's the rating on this podcast? Is it like does it matter, PG or
it's PG-13. I do allow one F word.
Okay, cool. So, which I'll restate this if I can't say this. Anybody who does have a penis, I guess is the best way to put this.
You're allowed to. Yes, that word is allowed.
Okay, I can say penis. Cool. So anybody that has a penis, I will say that get a dancer's belt and or spandex. That is very important to do. Pretty much anybody, whatever you have, wear something under, like, before you put the
No one
suit
wants to
on.
see a spider. No one wants to see a spider crotch.
Exactly. So yeah, and pretty much like any sort of compression, like up here, just kind of helps you keep the suit from getting like body odor and everything else on it. So I always wear like a compression shirt and compression pants, as well as a dancer's belt, and it just kind of keeps it keeps it comfortable, as well as makes it comfortable for everyone else to around you. So that is the most important thing with the Zentai suit, and yeah, most important thing.
Nice. Now, have you ever done like big, I guess, big build cosplays that were just more than or or different from what you're usually used to?
I'd say the biggest built cosplay that I have, I recently made a Thor, like torso piece, and that which I made it all out of EVA foam,
Good
and
stuff.
that, as long EVA foam is it's flexible within reason, but you definitely need to be careful of how you twist and turn your body, because at the end of the day, it is foam and it can snap if you do something wrong with it. Um, but I have not gotten into anything huge as of late, or as of now. But I did recently get a 3D printer, and so I hope to create some bigger pieces in the future.
Nice. So you have made your own cosplays before then?
Yes. If there's anything that I can make, I try to do that. I've made Thor. I made my Winter Soldier arm out of EVA foam, and the next thing I plan to make is I actually made a spiral saber, which is the weapon that the Red Space Ranger uses in Power Rangers in Space. Um,
You
and
said it was you said it was a spiral saber?
yes, I wish it was. I wish it was in this room. Which after the show, if you would like to see it, I can show you.
Yeah,
Um,
sure. I'll show people real quick what the picture looks like. For anyone wondering, you could correct me.
yes, exactly.
I haven't. Okay, Power Rangers Space. Wow, that's definitely way back when.
Yeah, solid season. But yeah, the next thing I plan to make is I'm going to be doing Gambit soon, and I have all the foam for that, and I plan to make his entire chest piece, or chest and torso piece, I guess.
Oh, nice.
Um, so yeah, I've definitely gotten some practice in with EVA foam, and I will say with each project, I can comfortably say that I've gotten better and better with it ever since I've started working with it. And so I just, like 3D printing is going to be nice, but I also want to keep on crafting things myself as well.
No, yeah, now as I always say, there's nothing wrong with that. So, actually, when you do Gambit, are you going to do the red contacts as well, or just you have your regular eyes?
I have yet to try anything with contacts yet. I did the Grinch this past Christmas for both
Oh yeah, I remember
TikTok
seeing that
and
on.
yeah, I did it for both TikTok and a show, and I was gonna get the contacts, but I just partially chickened out, but partially
Yeah,
couldn't find a pair that I liked.
that's
Um,
fair.
so I'm not opposed to doing the red contacts for Gambit. It's just the getting through the something in my eye part of it that
Oh
I'm
yeah.
trying to get past.
Oh yeah, no, I wholeheartedly I'm familiar with that all too well. Now, cosplay mishaps. It's whether you're at the convention, getting ready for the convention, something ripped, tore, snapped, broke, shattered, just anything that could go wrong did go wrong.
Oof. Um, let's see. I'm trying to recall. I don't think I have one for a convention, but I do have a story for whenever I was doing a birthday party as a character
That's
performer.
sick. I count that.
Okay, perfect. This was the first and only birthday that I did. The rest was just meet and greet after this. So it was my first birthday gig, and I was with somebody who was doing Wonder Woman, and it was Wonder Woman and Spider-Man showing up at the same party. It's for the kids.
Hmm.
And on the way to the party, her corset totally snapped on the way, and so she could not move without the whole wardrobe just malfunctioning. And so we get to the house where the party's at, and I had this anti-fog spray. It's like what divers use on their masks so it doesn't get fogged up. And I sprayed my lenses with it, and you're supposed to let it sit for about a minute before you wipe it off. Well, the people inside were ready for us, and so it's like, oh crap, okay. So I just wiped it off really quick. It was maybe on there for 15 seconds, and there's Velcro that were holding my lenses and my mask down onto the face shell. So we go into the party. She is having to kind of stay stiff because if she moves, then the corset's going to crumble. And so as the party's going on, I notice that my mask is starting to slip up, and also my lenses are getting foggy, and I cannot see any more than just maybe a half inch out of the slits of my eyes. And so you have a Spider-Man who cannot see, and you have a Wonder Woman who is one step away from having a total wardrobe malfunction. And it was we were booked for an hour. We were there for about 25 minutes before they pretty much asked us to leave because the it was going so badly. And we got 1 star, and we got a talking to from the organizers, and I never went back to do another birthday after that. I was like, you know what, I'm good.
Just a one and done kind of thing.
Yeah,
Oh man.
it was rough. It was a lot
Oh,
for one
that's
outing.
definitely a. Oh man. Ever had any con crunches for cosplays for convention? Like it was like a cosplay you were just kind of getting ready, but you were like up all night just to get it ready for the con.
Um, I don't think I've ever had like a crunch time. There was one where I wasn't sure if I was going to get all the pieces in or not. It was something I wasn't building, but it was something that I was just kind of putting together from bought pieces, and it was a like a Western style Joker. And I was waiting for a belt buckle and a hat to come in right before I went to MegaCon because I had to leave on a plane in like 2 days, and it looked like it was going to be delayed. And I was like, man, this belt is really going to make the whole costume. I'm really nervous it's not going to get here. But the day before it showed up, and I was like, oh, thank God, thank heavens.
Oh, that's good because I know it went sometimes when a cosplayer can't get their stuff finished for a con, they have to like mail it over just to pray that it gets there on time so they can finish it.
Exactly.
Oh man.
And
So
whenever I got to Florida, we were jumping between so many different hotels because the booking was just really weird for that trip. And so it even beginning to think of where I needed to send it if it did come in late, I have no idea what would have happened.
well, at least you got it. I'm sure your Western style Joker turned out pretty well.
It did. It was a group cosplay, and it turned out really really well, I think.
Nice. So you kind of talked about a kind of like a horror story. Any awkward, scary, funny, weird moments at conventions? As I call them, convention horror stories.
Ooh. Ah. You know, this goes back to my comment about make sure that whenever you go to a convention, make sure you're being respectful of people. This isn't a very specific story, but it is just a general sort of statement of cosplay is not consent. And
No,
so
that's not equal consent.
exactly. And so do not make it a point to make somebody uncomfortable if you're going to a convention. I don't care how they're dressed. I don't care what character they are. I don't care what character you are. Just don't be a creep at a convention. There was, without going into, it wasn't the worst it could have been, but there was somebody that was dressed up as Pervy Sage from Naruto, and you know how
Mhm.
some people get very overzealous with their characters at conventions. And it's one thing to go as the character, that's whatever, go as whoever you want to. But whenever you start acting a
Oh
certain
yeah,
way,
and it's
don't.
sad when it's sad when it's a grown ass adult too.
Exactly. Like you know better. You know better.
Yeah, I can kind of see where that would go. Oof. Favorite experiences like something to this, whether it was from a cosplay or at a convention to this day, it's something you'll always remember as a great experience.
Ooh. So this kind of rounds back to the Ash Ketchum side of it all. Because whenever I went to Ranger Stop the first year, this goes to meeting celebrities at conventions. Um, so the first time I went to Ranger Stop, I got to meet Veronica Taylor, who was the original voice actor for Ash Ketchum, And like I probably heard her voice as much as my parents' voice growing up, and so it was just a very big part of my life. And so I had like the season one Indigo League on Blu-ray, and so I took it there, and I was waiting in her line, and I got up and was able to meet her, and it was just such a fulfilling experience to be able to meet somebody from your childhood, and being able to express like, oh yeah, I got into acting and voice acting because I was inspired by your performances in these shows that I watch, and it's just really cool to be able to share that with the person that is a big inspiration to you. And she was such a very warm and welcoming person. Like she was very appreciative of everybody that came into the line, and actually gave a lot of time to each of these people to make sure that they had a very fulfilling experience. And the same goes for one of the first people I met at a convention. It was Jason David Frank.
Man, rest in peace, man.
Yeah, recently passed away. And, again, that was my second convention, I think. And he really set the tone for why I love conventions so much to this day. Just the welcoming, appreciative experience of him meeting his fans. And it was just really cool seeing somebody who played a hero on TV kind of act as a hero to all these people that were coming through. So
Nice. Were you able to get a picture with him or Veronica?
both actually. Yeah. The picture with Jason David Frank, I was so tired at that day, and you can tell on my face, I have like this half asleep look on my face. So like I love the picture a lot more now than what I used to. Um, it just means a lot. It always meant a lot, but now that he has passed, and knowing that this is the only picture I have with him, I'm like, you know what? I don't even care how I looked in this. This is a really big moment. And then Veronica Taylor, yeah, I made sure to carry my Ash Ketchum hat, and I had that on, and we were holding Pokeballs in it, and it was really really cool.
Nice. Nice. Now, one thing I always ask before I ask two final questions: future cosplays. So we talked about how Batman Beyond and Gambit, and you're working on Thor. Any other characters you're currently working on, would love to work on, or would love to do in the future?
Yeah, so yeah, working on Gambit. I actually got an updated Raimi suit that I'm going to be puff painting, and it has like the
Ooh,
raised.
you're gonna get webs. Nice.
Yes. Yeah, the first one is very much just two-dimensional. It just has the print of the logos and everything on it, which I love. But I did want to try to step it up at some point, and so I have an updated suit where I'm going to be puff painting it. The logos are
Nice.
already raised in the front and in the back,
Nice.
and
And it has the soles at the bottom.
yes, it actually has full shoes at the bottom.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
nice.
comfortable, and I shoes are a lifesaver in a Zentai suit. Um, and another big one that I'm going to be hopefully doing this year is Snake slash Big Boss from Metal Gear Solid 3. It's a video game series.
Oh, from the PS1, is it PS1, PS2?
It was PS2 whenever it first came out.
Nice. And
I've wanted to do Big Boss for so long.
you got the hair and you got the beard for it.
I like to think so. And so I was that was one that I saw it, and I was like, you know what, I could do this. And whenever quarantine started in 2020, that was whenever I played Snake Eater for the first time. I used to watch my brother play it all the time, and so uh, whenever 2020 started, I was like, well, I have all this time on my hands now because of quarantine, and I'm not working. So I played through it, and it was very much a comfort game. And so being able to kind of go full circle and cosplay the main protagonist from the series, is like, you know what, this would be really really cool and fulfilling.
Nice. Are you gonna? I know I gotta ask because I remember seeing it once at a con back in 2019. Are you gonna have a cardboard box with you as well for a prop?
If I can find a big enough cardboard box, I'll probably have to buy like a TV from 1995 to take the box from it, but I will do my best to have a cardboard box.
Nice. And then of course someone's gonna. I guarantee when you cosplay Snake, someone's gonna be saying Snake, Snake, Snake. I always try to bring humor into this series because
Yeah,
you got to. Yeah, those could be. I think honestly, the one I'm looking forward to see the most is probably honestly between your updated Sam Raimi suit and Big Boss Snake. Those are gonna be cool, man.
I appreciate that.
So last question. Just advice in general. You would like to throw out there to those who are listening and or watching this.
With we've talked a lot about cosplay, and I think this goes for any sort of it can go for anybody. It can go for creators. It can go for cosplayers, actors, whatever you prefer to do. I think honestly is just there is so much hate and there's so many people that will tell you that you can't do something. Just please, please, please be a person that will always say somebody can do something. Like be a positive light in an otherwise negative sort of environment. If like all you can do is try to make the best of what a situation is. There will be hard times. There will be great times. But the most important thing is to make sure to always pursue those times with love, no matter what, and pursue it with respect. Take care of each other, and don't let people rain on your parade. Don't let people tell you cannot do something just because they're too scared to do it. Don't let them prevent you from doing it.
I I honestly can't argue with that. I mean, and I've seen a lot of gatekeeping in the cosplay community, and I've seen toxic cosplayers, and it's just like it's like it wasn't as bad as back then, but nowadays, everyone and their mother-in-law is getting into cosplay, and it's just like let's let them. It doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter your race, gender, whatever. Cosplay is for everybody.
Absolutely. As long as you're doing a character with respect and you're doing it because you love it, that's the most important thing. And
Oh yeah.
that's all you can ask for.
Oh yeah, I will say though, if you are under the age of 18, I will say be careful on who you cosplay because there are some characters that are not meant for that are not meant for the younger generation to cosplay.
That's fair. Absolutely.
I think that should about do it though. Aaron, man, thank you for coming on to Cosplay Con Talk to share your cosplay and convention experience. Looking forward to seeing how the rest of your con season goes and the rest of your cosplaying career goes, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you having me. And this is a really, really cool experience. I really love the format of everything you have here. And you have some very hard hitting questions, and you carry this with such a
I've been
great
doing this.
poise, and I love it.
I've been doing this series for 2 years. I've
Oh
definitely
hell
learned a
yeah.
lot. So last but not least, would you, as I've been doing recently, would you like to promote yourself with some links so people can find you?
Yes, absolutely. So on Instagram, it is at Aaron K Gaines. On TikTok, it is just Aaron Gaines because, well, on Instagram, the K was taken, the Aaron Gaines was taken, so I had to put a K. um, you can find me on Twitter at Aaron K Gaines as well. And from time to time, I stream on Twitch, so you can find me at twitch.tv/Aaron G Gaming. And I believe that is all the places that I am currently.
And
Yep, that's where we are.
links to all those will be in the description below. As always, I'm Wayne the Unknown. Until next time, thank you for listening, and as always, thank you for watching.